always say I'm an imported South African. I live in New Zealand at the moment in Auckland on one of these little islands called Gulf Harbour in Auckland, and I love every single moment of it. I do miss South Africa, and I'm still a South African in my heart, but I love New Zealand. So I'm in New Zealand with my entire family, with my husband and my little one Byron, and the rest of the family's in South Africa, and then I have a cousin living here as well, a few meters from me, so I can just walk to her with my made muffins, and we can have some coffee and muffins. So yeah, that's a blessing in disguise. But yes, so I'm in New Zealand.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. And do you want to tell us a bit more about what you do and how long you've been there?
Yes, so like I said, we immigrated about a year and a little bit ago, and I was the main applicant. So I'm in the marketing and events industry, and that's what I'm passionate about. So I came over and I joined a team here in an events agency in Auckland, and we worked with corporates, did some corporate events, and then I promise you, and I'm not lying, a Monday morning, I think it was the 19th of March, if that was the Monday's date, I'm not sure, I don't have a calendar in front of me. I walked in on that Monday morning and the phone didn't stop ringing, and every single event was cancelled for the next 6 months.
I can imagine.
And we're a small team. We're 3 events managers and then the director, and I remember her looking at us going, what the hell happened? And it was the entire business collapsed within 24 hours. It was terrifying, and I remember walking outside, I couldn't breathe because I knew that I was in this whole new country, and how are we going to survive?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, and then I was like, I don't know how this is going to work, and I need to work because I'm the main applicant, and we just did residency a few months ago, and to do a residency application is super stressful. You need to go for English tests, and you need to spend $7,000, and it's a huge commitment to make. And we just knew that that's the way to go, so we just went for it, because you don't want to wait long to apply for residency because it takes months. If it doesn't, it can even take years. So we did it, and I just knew that if I lose my job, it means that the whole residency application is null and void. I'm the main applicant. What happens with us? What happens with our visas? And then that week went by. The following Monday, I was made redundant.
Oh.
Yes, so but there's an upside to this. So I was made redundant. I got a feeling in my stomach that that's going to happen, because they couldn't keep us on. They just didn't know what's going to happen. All the events were cancelled, and nobody knew when events will happen again, and all of that.
We still don't know. We still have no idea.
Yeah. It's the thing, you just don't know, and I think this is going to keep on for a while. This is not just going to disappear. So I went home with my little piece of paper. My husband was already home, and I came into the house and I said to him, I'm so sorry, but this has just happened. And he was very, very supportive. He said, and thank goodness, I said to Dean earlier, somebody upstairs must be looking after us, because Neil got a job in IT at one of the biggest companies in New Zealand probably about 8 months ago, just like 6 months after we arrived. And he's a network engineer, and he is on the shortage list. But because I was the main applicant, we just never switched over, because, it's extra money. So we switched over to him, and he's now the main applicant, and we're just waiting for our visas to come through. And then I'm going to try and create a business from home where I can work with children, look after children, and but with a difference. I want to empower them to have a powerful mindset, to understand that failure is part of success, and do little afternoon activities with them for 2-3 hours before they go home. And that's big in New Zealand. A lot of people need childcare, and it's not really a daycare. It's more like picking up 5 kids between the age of 7 and 10 and just empowering them for 2 hours, and doing some exercise, going outside, doing outdoor activities, and all of that, and then their moms fetch them, and that's the idea. So I've decided I didn't know if I I didn't know what is the next steps here and how I'll get into the employment market again. So creating your own business here is the way to go. And I just knew that I wanted to spend more time with my little one.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to open that door. But it's still very unknown and still very scary. But that's what I'm busy at the moment. I'm educating myself. I've enrolled in a diploma about early childhood learning and understanding the child's brain and how they develop and what is positive parenting and all of that, so that I can, so I can be upskilled, so I can upskill myself so that I can know all of that when I start, I think.
Wow, Caroline, sure, that's so inspiring. And at the same time, I mean, you've gone through so much. How are you feeling? I mean, you look excited. I mean, you bright out and bushy-tailed. It's what time is it your side now? It's 9 p.m. in South Africa now.
7, like just after 7.
Wow.
But yeah, this is when I wake up. I make my cup of coffee. I try and wake up at this time of the day, otherwise you really get very lazy, and you do. And for me, I want to wake up, make my cup of coffee, jump on the laptop, do my emails, and start planning my day. And then when my child wakes up, I know exactly what my day looks like. And for me, it's a working day. Well, I'm trying to change my mindset that it's not like I'm not at home and it's not a holiday. It's still, even though I don't have money rolling into the bank, I want to stay, active and get my day going on. Getting into a routine, I think, is the biggest thing. And I think the biggest thing for me is I just never want my child to see any of my insecurities, at this moment in time, because they're very insecure at the moment. They're not around their friends. They don't know what's happening. How's this whole coronavirus? I'm very honest with my child. I'm like, listen, this is what's going on. We don't know when we're gonna go back to normal. If there's ever a normal again, because I don't know if there's ever going to be a normal again.
Yeah.
I think everything's change. So there'll ever be. I think we'll have a new normal. I don't think it will ever go back to what it was, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think we all needed change. I think we all needed time to rest. I think we were all exhausted. We had information overload. I think I saw families breaking up. I mean, just before the coronavirus, I saw families breaking up, divorce rates. My friends that I knew for years, that I knew that will never break up, divorced, and children acting out and everything. So I just don't know if this is the way the world just, rectified all of that. And I do feel there's a silver lining. I do feel, even though I've lost my job, and I promise you there was nights where I cried my eyes out, and because you don't have your mom around the corner, you don't have your dad around the corner, you don't have your best friend that you can just go have a glass of wine with and say, what now? And the way I also explained it to somebody, one of my friends here, is in South Africa I had investments. I had security. I had my house halfway paid off. My car was paid off, all of that. So if I lost my job, I was still in a good position. Here, I have no savings. I have no securities, support levels, the way in South Africa. So the uncertainty was just unbelievable. But that's when you really know who you are inside and who you need to rely on. And positivity is key. You have to have a positive mindset, and I always say in times like this you have to look at what you're grateful for. So when you wake up and you're overwhelmed, and we all get overwhelmed, we all have different things we want to do and different budgets and different every single business list is different. You have to just take a moment and think, okay, what am I grateful for? At least I don't have coronavirus. At least somebody in my family doesn't have coronavirus. At least nobody has passed away in my family, things like that. And I think, I do miss South Africa, but there's times, when I walk, like I said to Dean earlier as well, was that I take my walks in the day, and I walk around my house, and we're surrounded by the sea. And it's just unbelievable. And I had opportunities where I could take Byron for lunch, and I'll pack our little sandwiches in, and we'll go to the park, and we'll sit there and we'll have lunch. And well, just overlook the sea. You're surrounded by the sea, so all you see is the sea. It's the most beautiful. It's the most beautiful. I can't explain it. And then you sit there and you think, oh my goodness, this is just unbelievable. And the moment I have with my child and the reconnection I made with him was just, it's priceless. So sometimes you just need the time. Sometimes time, you can't buy time. I think that's the thing. You can't go and buy time. You can't go and jump on a website and go and buy time. I wish you could, but no. So now you've been given time for free, but with some sacrifices. So for me, there's definitely a silver lining, and I think it's how you look at it, and it's what you make of it. But I'm very, very grateful to be in this country. New Zealand managed the whole coronavirus exceptionally. I mean, the Prime Minister, Jacinda, I've seen leadership on a different level. I mean, I never knew leadership the way I know it now. She jumps on Facebook Live in her pajamas and she talks to everybody and she tells everybody how she also has fear, and she has a little one as well, and I think her little one is 3 years old, and she tells people, what she goes through herself, and the way she speaks to us, she goes, listen here, we're all a team, and you work in a team. So if you go outside and you don't keep your distance, we as a country are not going to get ahead. So I mean, I think New Zealand's one of the countries that's handled this the very best. I think if I watch the news, and it's because we went into lockdown fairly quickly. There was only a few people infected, and we went under lockdown level 4 quite quickly. And a lot of people lost their jobs, and the economy has really taken a knock. But the way that people support each other, the community here is just unbelievable. People would go and buy grocery shopping and go and drop it off at the elderly, the older people's things, and people, yes, and everybody's put teddy bears in their windows. So when you go for your walks in the afternoon, everybody has a little teddy bear with a little note of encouragement in their windows. And I think the thing with Jacinda is she's very, very transparent, and we only have 19 deaths to this date. And unfortunately, I'm not a resident, but if you were a resident, you would have had 3 full payments. No, I don't think it was full payments, but 80% of your salary, which would have been amazing. So if you're a resident here and you're a citizen, you're definitely looked after. And sometimes some days it's so peaceful here that you forget that there's a coronavirus, happening in the rest of the globe. So it's pretty managed.
Wow, that was so awesome, Caroline. That's really, I take my hat off to you. You're so inspiring, and you've always had such beautiful energy and excitement and a positive aura around you, and I can still see it. And I wish you all the best. I'm sure your new project will be very, very successful, and you will spend some wonderful time with those children and inspire them.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks so much for making the time to talk to us. And sure, I don't know what to say. I just think it's amazing how you've just carried on. You've gone through so much, and I think you're an example of so many people. The whole events industry has come to a complete standstill. There's so many people affected, but your message is just beautiful. You've got to just look at the silver lining. So thanks for sharing that.
Oh, that's only a pleasure, and it was so, so nice seeing you. I wish I could have just arranged a coffee date with you as well to have a little conversation, but this was pretty awesome, and it's definitely worth the wake up, and I'm really glad we set this up. Thank you very much for asking me. It's an honor to share my story, and I'm just hoping it will help somebody else, and to know that immigration and uncertainty and coronavirus and everything can happen to you, and you can still choose to see the silver lining, and you can make it. You can make it. That's the thing for me.
I agree. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your evening and go sleep well. And
no, Dean and I will get into bed soon. and you have got a whole day ahead of you.
Yes, ahead of me. It's starting right now.